Good evening and welcome back to the Five Wide podcast after a year-long hiatus. Um, I'm your host, Gunnar Shockley, joined by my co-hosts.
Gavin Gorsuch, back from the dead, obviously.
And Alec Christian.
Yes, sir. Just three of us today. The other two are in prison right now for beating each other to death. So,
Hopefully that could get straightened out. Hopefully.
yeah, hopefully. Um, but yeah, until then, just us three. Today we are going over our mock draft for the 2024 NFL Draft. Um, the draft is tomorrow. It's been a while since the season ended, or we've had any sort of podcast at all. Just today, we heard the news that defensive end Trey Hendrickson has requested a trade from the Bengals due to failed contract negotiation progression. So, I guess, Alec, you can give your thoughts on that first before Gavin.
Yeah, I'd say it was very unexpected. Um, Hopefully, um, Joseph Osai can stop messing around and actually be worth a damn. Um, so Trey Anderson, I don't know. Gavin, what do you think?
So the T Higgins one really caught me off guard because I thought, okay, we franchise tag him, we prolong negotiations to extend him long term next season, right? Because obviously the franchise tag is a 1 year deal type of thing. Trey Hendrickson, I mean, I feel like it's kind of just like an attention move. I don't think that it's anything like that we should worry about like too hard right now. I mean, the day before the draft, obviously it could play into what the Bengals decide to do. Obviously, drafting Miles Murphy last year with the first round pick gives us a little bit more depth at edge rusher. But I mean, for me, it really just like explains how quick Super Bowl windows can close. In 2021, we competed for it, and we thought that that would maybe force the Bengals to be more expensive in free agency, things like that, especially with extending productive pieces on the roster. So I guess we'll find out. It's definitely a curveball, but hopefully the Bengals front office can take care of that situation. I don't know if it plays into the draft tomorrow night or not, but for that we will find out.
We will for sure. Um, Yeah, I mean, obviously Heath has already talked about scenarios in which they trade both of them and trade up, something crazy like trade up for the fourth pick and get Marvin Harrison Jr. But
That'd be sweet.
Anything's
yeah,
possible.
yeah. But one thing I noticed when going through all like obviously some of it's public knowledge, some of it's not private or public knowledge, but the Bengals never met with Troy Franklin or the and Marvin Harrison Jr. At all for any combine, pro day, anything. Never had any meeting, at least publicly noted. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, historically, obviously, the Bengals never really do any big trades, especially in the first round. I think the last one they did was that trade for Cordy Glenn, Cordy Glenn,
Mhm.
I think
um,
it's Cody.
Cody Glenn.
But yeah, Cody Glenn.
Okay. Uh,
Forgettable draft pick, in my opinion.
Yeah, he was a hot can of shit.
Yeah, so that was their last big move, and that was just kind of an attempt to kind of salvage their window that they had at the time with Marvin Lewis and Prime AJ Green and Andy Dalton, and obviously it didn't work out. So I would say their scenario for this year should really be to obviously prolong the window they have right now with Burrow. They're sort of in a slight transition stage. I would say they're kind of at where the Chiefs are. I guess after the Bengals beat them in the AFC Championship a couple years ago, they had to draft an entirely new defense, pretty much. A lot of rookie guys in the secondary, on the defense as a whole, and then and they've won back-to-back championships with rookies and, first, second year players playing big roles on the team. I would say a big reason why the Bengals haven't been able to replicate that is because they haven't hit on draft picks. Obviously people have fallen in love with some prospects and whatnot, but like you have to hit on some late round picks, sixth and seventh round picks. We saw some flashes from that from Ioshi Voss, but overall, they've done a pretty bad job. Obviously, they've done a bad job of drafting offensive linemen. Um,
Jackson Carmen in the second round
yeah,
specifically comes to mind.
the worst pick possibly ever.
A
Yeah,
valuable backup, I would say.
I feel like the 2019 draft really set the Bengals back in the 2021 Super Bowl. Like the 2019 draft class was terrible. Like I think the only notable player is Pratt. And I mean, if you consider Travion Williams like worth a damn, then him. But I think everybody else. Oh, and Drew Sample. And I mean, Jonah Williams has been hot garbage. I feel like that draft class really set him back. Like if they would have drafted better in 2019, the Super Bowl in 2021.
The
And I
2020
mean,
draft class was full of hits. We have like Logan Wilson, obviously, Burrow.
I would say like Logan Wilson, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, getting more obviously, but yeah, like overall that was what got them to the Super Bowl the next year. So obviously with the position that they're at to pick right now, I don't think we're going to see a draft like that again for a while. Um, but like I said before, obviously they need to hit on at the picks that they have lined up right now. Um, so yeah, so let's just jump into it now. We'll go with number one overall pick from the Chicago Bears. I think everyone already knows who this is going to be, but I'll let Gavin with his copy and pasted. Go ahead.
I filled out my mock draft before we started, so I tried to determine it based off what Pro Football Focus determined each ball club's team needs were. So obviously, this is probably not hard to imagine, but with the first pick, the Chicago Bears take Caleb Williams, generational quarterback out of USC. I just think with them trading Fields to Pittsburgh, it was kind of the writing on the wall. So we get a reset with Caleb Williams, potentially more talented than Fields was coming in, even though they spent the ninth overall pick on him, even traded up to do so. So, you get the rookie contract, you can build pieces around. I know that they acquired um, the wide receiver from LA. What's his name? I'm blanking on it.
Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen. They acquired Keenan Allen in the offseason to potentially help. I don't know how I blank on a Pro Bowler's name, but it's whatever. But Keenan Allen, they acquired him in the offseason, so it's got to be Caleb Williams. That's the number one pick, in my opinion.
Yeah, we've been in baseball mode for the past month or so it's hard to recall a lot of football names. I kind of struggled with Ioshi Voss just now a little bit ago, but it's kind of coming back.
Yeah,
But
Gavin just figured out about the DJ Reader news today.
wait, what?
The Lions have gained themselves a very good nose tackle, in my opinion, especially to boost their interior run defense. But
Did you think he was still like on the team?
no, I had not figured it out today. I was talking to Alec about it. I had figured it out like a week or two ago. I haven't been keeping up with as much football as I should be. I'm more focused on Ohio State's offseason, OH. Um, but yeah, things like that. Plus the spring game was recent too as well. So my mind's been elsewhere. Like you said, baseball's fresh in my mind too. I wonder if the Reds are winning. But I'll give it to Alec for his number one pick as well.
Yeah. Uh, I feel like everyone's got Caleb Williams going one. I actually heard he's going to be like painting his nails while walking on the stage. Yeah. I'm ready for that. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know if he's going to be that good. Like the Bears are a dumpster fire. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
this quarterback class is really iffy. I don't know what to expect from Caleb Williams or Drake May. I want to be very sure on McCarthy and know that he's going to be a huge bust and be god awful because I don't think he ever was worth a damn at Michigan. Like I don't know, but
Got a lot of talent around him.
yeah, for sure. Um, but yeah, I would say overall, this quarterback class is boomer bust. I think. I don't know. I mean, even if Caleb Williams isn't like a big superstar, if he can play for the Bears for years and be like a solid quarterback,
Jay Cutler esque.
yeah,
But he made it. He didn't make a Super Bowl. Who was that? That wasn't Jay Cutler, was it? That was Robbie Grossman, right? Rex Grossman.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
I'll I'll
You're
I'll,
the
I'll,
quoted Bears fan, so
Yeah, you're
I'll,
supposed to be
I'll
a
check
Bears
it out. I'll
expert.
check it out. I'll check it out. That was Lovey Smith years. I wasn't around then, but yeah.
All
So,
right.
better your number one pick was Caleb Williams as well.
Yeah, my number one pick was Caleb Williams. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Everyone knows like he's gonna go first overall. It's probably a similar situation with the Bengals and Burrow. Like they told Caleb Williams this probably in February or January for that matter. So yeah, Caleb Williams going first overall. Now for number two, uh, the Washington Commanders. Gavin, the floor is yours.
Um, so me personally, I just do not see the Patriots taking Jaden Daniels at 3. So I have the Commanders taking Jaden Daniels at 2. He has Terry McLaurin there on the outside, can make plays with his feet as well out of LSU. Not necessarily no brainer. You could always go with Drake May here too, but I just don't see Drake May ending up in Washington specifically. So I have the Commanders taking Jaden Daniels at number 2.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna say that I had them taking a quarterback, but it's not Jaden Daniels. So I'll leave it at that as we go on to Alec.
yeah, I also have the same pick as Gavin. Sadly, I think they get Jane Daniels. I think like I don't know. I feel like they like athletic quarterbacks. Um, yeah, Sam Howell was a bust, and I feel like Drake May is like Sam Howell 2.0, and they don't want to go that direction again. So I feel like Jane Daniels is their pick. RG3 2.0 maybe.
Potentially, that's good. I didn't think of that comparison, but yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know. To me,
Also won the Heisman too. They both won the Heisman. They're both going to be Commanders.
yeah,
Jade
to me,
Daniels is the
I
most
think
like. Hold on, can I say this? Jade
yeah,
Daniels is the most like out of left field. Like I understand the stats that he put up at LSU. Don't get me wrong. Um, but he's a very forgettable Heisman, in my opinion. That might
yeah,
be
I
crazy,
agree,
but like
He's
100%.
Buns. He is Buns, and Hyatt loves him for some reason. Hyatt, if you're watching, you're a clown, and you know it.
he picked LSU to win the title last year. Let him forget that.
Yeah, get him a
Yeah,
clown nose.
there's a certain someone who didn't let him forget his Auburn pick. So.
Oh yeah.
All right, so my quarterback for number two is Drake May. I think the Commanders will want to take the safer route, and obviously, if May doesn't go here, he'll go to the Patriots at the next pick. But I feel like they're higher on Drake May internally, and so that's my pick for number two. Jaden Daniels probably has a higher ceiling than Drake May, but you know, if he's not decent, he's going to be very very bad. So I think Drake May has a significantly higher floor than Jaden Daniels, and that's what's going to compel them to take Drake May for number two. Um, going on to number three, we can change up the order here a little bit. Um, so for one with no trades, I have the Patriots getting J.J. McCarthy at number 3. It just seems like the kind of player that they're going to look at. Obviously, the management is different overall, somewhat at least. Belichick's gone, but same thing with Jaden Daniels. I haven't seen like a lot of reports about them being high on Jaden Daniels. I know they've been linked to Drake May a lot. A lot of people say like that's their guy for number 3. But obviously, if May goes second, then McCarthy is going to be their guy at number 3. This is also a pick where I could see the Vikings trading up. A lot of people have talked about the Vikings trading up after they got pick 23 from the Texans. I think they'll use that trade up to number 3, possibly. And if they do so, they will get Jaden Daniels with this pick. Based on what I've seen from reporters on Twitter talking about, what front offices are higher on, what not. I think Jaden Daniels will be there at 3 if the Vikings trade up. And the reason why I think the Patriots will trade out of this pick is because Drake May is their guy and he'll be gone by then. So that's my pick for number 3.
Alec, do you want to go? You want me
Should I
to
go next?
Sure.
You can go. You can go. Yeah.
I'll go. I also have them getting J.J. McCarthy. At first, I didn't have them getting him, but I feel like it's a New England pick. I feel like McCarthy seems like a safe pick for New England. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be that good, though. Like, I don't know what people saw in him. Just because he doesn't, like, turn the ball over. All he did was hand the ball off in Michigan. But, yeah.
So at number 3, I think, like Alex said, that McCarthy was a very New England pick. I think that's the same reason why they take Drake May, because in my draft, Drake May is still available. So they get their guy, bigger than McCarthy, has a better arm. It gets cold in New England. You're going to need to be able to spin it down there. Not down there. I meant up there. My apologies. I'm not geographically, capable, obviously. But yeah, I think they take Drake May, out of North Carolina. He's a big question mark. How high is his ceiling? How low is his floor? That's to be determined. But I think the Patriots get their guy in Drake May at 3.
I thought you said McCarthy.
No, I said Drake May.
You said May.
Oh, I'm off the dads.
Yeah, I got you. I had Drake May at 3. So
Yeah, he was saying that McCarthy is like a Patriots pick, but in his draft, May hasn't been taken yet, so it makes sense. Which, yeah, obviously, if I think if May is there, then the Patriots will go Drake May. But yeah, so moving on to number 4, the Arizona Cardinals. Obviously, they have a chance to add some weapons or build up their line. They're in great position in this draft, regardless of who's taken from picks 1 to 3. So, Gavin, you want to start us off here for number 3 or 4?
yeah, like you said, like it's a loaded receiver class, even down the board. Like disregarding the first round, even down the board, the receiver class is loaded as well as tackles. Haven't seen many guards in the first 32 picks from the research that I did, but like you said, they have a chance to add to weapons, and I have them taking the first receiver off the board. A potential generational talent, and Marvin Harrison Jr. obviously carries a lot via the name. So that's who I have the Cardinals taking at 4, giving Kyler Murray a true number 1 to be able to throw to down in Glendale.
Yeah, I also have them getting Marvin Harrison. I saw something today that said like they're asking like a king's ransom to trade out of the pick now. I know there's a lot of talk of them trading out of the pick, which makes sense because like they need a lot of positions and getting draft capital for that 4th pick would make sense. But That if I was Arizona's GM, that's what I would do. But I think they do draft Marv.
Yeah, yeah, and I have the same pick as you guys. I don't think I don't know. I don't see teams overall being higher on Neighbors than they are on Marvin Harrison Jr. Um, I think Marvin Harrison Jr.'s ceiling is way bigger than Neighbors is. Um, but yeah, I don't think there is really a chance that Neighbors goes to number four. Um, yeah, like Gavin said, potential generational talent at receiver. Um, Obviously, his production is kind of a red flag. His college production didn't really do much at Ohio State. Had a kind of an underwhelming career, but obviously showed flashes at times of a player that can be very, very good in the NFL. Um, so yeah, we all agree on Marvin Harrison Jr. for number four, and it's very likely he will be picked tomorrow night. Um,
That'll make back-to-back first-round Buckeye picks for the Cardinals. Am I right? Because they
Because
drafted Harris.
Paris Johnson was 6th overall last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
do have a
wait.
question though. How much weight? So I didn't mean to interrupt you. Did I interrupt you?
No, you're good.
I was just gonna ask like how much weight do you think like his dad's name carries with him being drafted so high? Do you think it plays into it at all, or do you think that he's just being drafted solely based on like what he showed at Ohio State and like his ceiling?
Gunner, you want to answer that?
Sure. I'll say I don't really think it does. Obviously, I feel like some teams probably, how do I say this? Some teams might have better access or like know more about him because of his dad. Um, there's probably already some relationships that have already been built with some teams because of his dad, as
Cool.
compared to Neighbors. I don't think Neighbors has any elite pedigree in his family at all.
Not that I've seen now.
Yeah, or a Dunzy. I haven't heard of anybody in his family. You I could just be a casual, but yeah, I would say overall, like, I would say his name probably carried some weight at Ohio State initially, like because he was a 4 star, and whenever we got him committed to Ohio State, it was a big deal because it was Marvin Harrison Jr. And it wasn't just some no name. Obviously, 4 stars is a big deal, but with Ohio State bringing all those 5 stars, it wouldn't have been that significant if it wasn't Marvin Harrison Jr. So yeah, but obviously like you said, with it being the NFL draft and everything, I don't think his name carries any weight as to his ranking on any draft boards or anything like that.
Okay, and you wanted to get us into pick number 5, I believe, right? Correct.
Yep, the
So
Los Angeles Chargers with their new head coach.
Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, very interesting spot right here.
Mhm.
You know, Harbaugh has talked about, you know, adding to the run game, kind of building more in the trenches, which is the kind of the way that the NFL is kind of going towards in recent years. Um, moving away from 5 wide looks and whatnot, and getting heavier on the offensive side of the ball. But where they're at, they have just like the Cardinals, they have a chance to add a very, very good offensive weapon. Um, but I have them taking Joe Alt at pick number 5. I feel like they want to submit. They want to have the left tackle spot cemented for years for Herbert. I would say he's a very safe pick. He graded very, very well at the combine, a very athletic offensive tackle. Um, but in my other draft, I had trades. I had them taking Neighbors just to kind of switch it up. But, I would say my consensus is Joe Alt for them.
Kevin?
See, I thought this was a tricky spot, like you said, like new head coach, the NFL is moving towards more of an offensive side of the ball. It favors it, obviously, with penalty changes, things like that. You want more of an offensive minded coach if you're starting a franchise from scratch. At least that's what the consensus would say, and Jim Harbaugh, historically, wherever he's been, whether that be Stanford, the 49ers, Michigan, most recently, he's always had dominant offensive lines to go along with his scheme that does favor the run. So I agree with Gunnar. I think they take Joe Alt. Obviously, Malik Neighbors and Roma Dunze are still available at this pick, and they can afford to get Justin Herbert a weapon. Now, selecting another tackle, like, does that move Rashawn Slater anywhere? Do they move Joe Alt potentially to the interior? That's to be determined. Maybe they just have him at both tackle positions. Um, but yeah, I completely agree. Gunnar Joe Alt is the pick for the Chargers if they do not trade out of it, which they could also do as well. Gain more draft capital, potentially draft a weapon down the board. But I think with Jim Harbaugh there, he wants to solidify that offensive line like he's done in years past with his previous program. So I think they take Joe Alt at number 5.
Yeah, the alt pick makes a lot of sense. Them getting another bookend tackle to protect Herbert with Slater on one side and then Alt on the other. That's who I do not have the Chargers getting Alt. I have them getting Neighbors, Malik Neighbors. I think if the Chargers want to be competitive, getting Malik Neighbors would advance their offense more than Joe Alt would. Um, they drafted Quentin Johnson last year, and that was clearly a fail. I feel like Neighbors would really open up Herbert's ability, and I think that's who they draft.
All right. Now moving on to number 6, the New York Giants. My pick for them is Malik Neighbors. I don't think Neighbors slides anymore, if you even call that a slide, really. The Giants, I have their need as like their top need as receiver, and you don't want to pass up on a premium talent at receiver. So yeah, a number 6 to go, Neighbors.
So I have the Giants getting Rome Odunze. I originally didn't have this, and then I thought, like, there's no way they don't go receiver here. If Neighbors is there, they'll get Neighbors, but I think they get the next best option in Odunze.
So I
I
kind
don't
of
know.
flip.
I,
Sorry.
I am pretty high on Adunzi, but I don't know. I just don't see teams taking him before Neighbors. But I can't go wrong, in my opinion, with doing that. But I just don't see that happening. But yeah, Gavin, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like you said, like you don't see that happening. I personally would pick Roma Dunze, so that's who I have the Giants taking at number 6. Not that Neighbors is any less capable of the number 1 option potentially, but I just think from what I've seen from Roma Dunze, I just think he's gonna be better in the league. That's just my personal opinion. And I mean, obviously, um, they could also use a quarterback, but like giving Daniel Jones that much money like they did a couple off seasons ago, it just doesn't make any sense. There's a couple options still available on the board at that position, but I do think they go the safe route, take a playmaker, and I think that's Roman Doomsday out of Washington.
I just realized that makes 3 wide receivers in my first top 6 picks. Kind of crazy if that happens.
Yeah, so you have Williams, Daniels, McCarthy, so 3 quarterbacks and 3 wide receivers. That'd be
Oh
crazy.
yeah,
I mean, it's definitely realistic. Um, Yeah, moving on the number 7. Um, I kind of went back and forth with the Titans because they desperately need a left tackle. They need any offensive line for that matter. But at number 7, when there's premium skill position players available, I don't think you would trade down. Maybe you trade down if you can get a very good deal. But I don't think Fuaga would go this high. So I have Adunzi going number 7 to the Titans with this pick.
Yeah, so I have them like I said, I haven't flip flopped with you guys. I have neighbors going at this pick. I think great value. Obviously, it really just depends on what the Giants do. If the Giants think neighbors is better, that's completely fine. Then you can flip flop and whatever. But I think the Titans go neighbors here. Get them a premium receiver. I don't like Will Levis is still there, so you want to surround him with some playmakers. If you're gonna give him like a prove it year, which I think that's what they're gonna do, see if they have anything with the gunslinger and Will Levis out of Kentucky. But yeah, I have him taking Malik Neighbors at number 7.
So I have them getting the tackle that they need. 6'9" tackle out of Notre Dame, Joe Alt. I feel like that's a steal of a pick for them. And so what is that, the 7th pick?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's who they get at 7.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be a great pick for them. But it's just a matter as if he falls that far. Um, but yeah, all right. So moving on to the Atlanta Falcons at number 8. I have their needs on here as receiver or pass rush are my top 2 needs for them. But also corners. They need guys in the secondary, and with all that receiver talent off the board by then in my draft, I have them taking a very very good corner, very fast, very talented out of Toledo, Quinyon Mitchell. I think this is a home run pick for them, and he can be great in the secondary for the Falcons for years to come. Um, I think he has potential to, shut down the premier NFL wide receivers um, with his speed and everything about him. And obviously, he tested very well. Amazing athlete. Obviously, maybe there were some concerns with him playing in the MAC, but he had the opportunity to transfer to some big schools and turned it down. Um, but yeah, in turn it didn't hurt his draft stock. But yeah, Quinton Mitchell is my pick. In the mock draft where I had trades, the Falcons going edge rush and taking Dallas Turner. Um, I don't really know where teams value Dallas Turner. I've seen them all over the place on public boards and everything. So, but yeah, in my opinion, the best pick for them would be Mitchell in this scenario for me.
Yeah, I got the casual pick here for the casual ass team, the Atlanta Falcons. I have them getting Dallas Turner.
That's a good pick. I was waiting on if you had any other analysis to go along with it or
There's no input to Dallas Turner. He's just going to the Falcons. He's
okay, interesting.
he's pretty balanced, but he's gonna go to the Falcons. So yeah.
Okay. I agree with Gunner. They do need edge help, like you said. They could draft Dallas Turner Alec, like that's perfectly possible. But I also have them going with a secondary player, but opposed to the cornerback out of Toledo, I have them taking the cornerback out of Iowa, Cooper DeJean. He can be moved all around. He can be
Wait, at
he can
number
be
8 for the Falcons?
yeah, I have him
I'm
selected.
letting you know right now. Cooper DeJean is not going before Terrion Arnold, Nate Wiggins.
Cooper DeJean can be moved all
Quinyon
along the
Mitchell.
secondary. Great special teams asset as well.
He's not going to be a top 10 pick. He's not even going to go in the first round.
I have Cooper DeJean at 8 to the Falcons.
Oh my god.
Strike me down if I'm wrong.
That's all.
I think he played on an NFL caliber defense in Iowa with Kirk Ferentz as his coach. I think he provides a great asset to the
Parents
special
couldn't lick
team.
gum off my shoes.
I think he provides a good asset to the special teams as well. Could be a punt returner, kick returner. Just it's flexible in the secondary. Joins AJ Terrell. You don't need a shot. Hey, AJ Terrell's already there. You don't need. I mean, it wouldn't be frowned upon to have another shutdown corner, but you don't necessarily need that. Cooper DeJean's flexible in the secondary. That's who I have going at number 8 out of Iowa. Give me Cooper DeJean.
That's not gonna happen. If that happens, I'll Venmo you the money in my bank account, all of it.
Okay, we have that on. We have that recorded. We have that recorded.
All right. Wow. I mean, I have DeJean in my first round, I believe, but just double check here. Yeah, I do. Okay. And I might be higher on him than other teams are. PFF has him ranked above Quinyon Mitchell. I guess he does provide a lot of value with his versatility and everything. I guess that I don't know really what the main concerns about him are. Maybe, where he's actually going to play and his medical history. But obviously he does provide a lot of value, like Gavin said. He could be the Swiss Army knife. Kick returner, punt returner, safety, corner, all that shit.
And then again, like the Falcons, the last 2 first rounds. Correct me if I'm wrong. They took Kyle Pitts, and then they took Bijan Robinson, obviously last year. So they needed defensive cornerstone S piece. Now Cooper DeJean, to see that, probably not. I don't think his ceiling's as high to be that, but you never know. You never know.
That could be like the worst pick I've ever heard. Like, we're gonna watch the draft tomorrow, and he's not gonna get picked the first round, and then I'm gonna just knock you out.
Okay then. I could be wrong. I never said I couldn't. Who projected the Chiefs to trade up however many picks to get Mahomes? Nobody predicted.
Here we go.
Nobody predicted that. I'm just saying.
All right, number 9, Gavin, Chicago Bears.
I
For
think
the Bears, I have them. They've already picked. They got their generational quarterback. So then now they need offensive line and defensive line. I would say that they get a premium interior defensive lineman. Unfortunately for the Bengals, Byron Murphy, the second. They get Byron Murphy the second. But in my trade scenario mock, Dungy hasn't gone yet. So I think the Titans, since Joe Alt has gone before them, and the one I have right here, they trade down 2 spots with the Bears. The Bears get a Dungy. This is a spot, depending on how it shakes out, where we could see a trade happen. Especially the Bears, obviously they're going to want to reach, well, not reach, but trade up for a premium receiver talent. But yeah, I would say Byron Murphy, great pick for them. He'd be a force for years to come. Obviously, with the price that teams are paying now for interior defensive linemen, these positions are becoming premium positions. Typically I wouldn't say teams would be this high on interior defensive linemen, but nowadays they don't just grow on trees. They're getting paid a lot of money, and a bunch of teams just don't have an interior pass rusher who can be a game wrecker like Chris Jones. So Gavin, what are your thoughts for this pick?
Okay, so for this pick, I mean, obviously the Bears got their generational QB, so I have them following the Texans' blueprint of last year and getting a very good edge rusher in Dallas Turner. So that's why I have the Bears. So they already picked offense. They go get themselves an edge rusher, follow the Texans' blueprint like last year, with Will Anderson and CJ Stroud, obviously. So following that blueprint, they get Dallas Turner at number 9 out of Alabama.
Or this is a quick hypothetical. What is Alec?
He's turning away from my picks. That's what he's
I'm
doing.
trying to find the goddamn door.
All right, so the hypothetical is pick number 18. Bengals are on the clock. Dallas Turner and Byron Murphy are on the board. Gavin, you're saying you would rather have Dallas Turner be a Bengal? I mean, I guess obviously the team needs aren't the same for the Bears and Bengals, but with the Bears and Bengals sort of needing a premium defensive player, I would say it's kind of a similar situation. So would you rather have Dallas Turner over Byron Murphy for the Bengals, or does that kind of
Um,
change?
I think for the Bengals, obviously, if we can persuade Hendrickson to stay, that edge would be less of a need. I think we have more depth at edge than we do at defensive tackles. So I would probably say that Byron Murphy would be the pick for me personally. I don't know. Obviously, losing DJ Reader to the Lions, like we mentioned earlier, doesn't help. So if we get him, have Sheldon Rankins to mentor him for the stint that he's here in Cincinnati for, would be quite productive. Obviously, the talent speaks for itself. Played really well at Texas this year. So, in my personal perspective, I would probably have us going Byron Murphy at that point. But that's just hypothetically speaking, if they were both available. Edge depth, we have Osai, Hendrickson, if he's persuaded to stay. Just not as much depth as we do at edge that we would at defensive tackle. So that's why.
Alec,
So,
what is your pick for number 9?
so Gavin, you had Dallas Turner going here.
Yes, sir.
Question mark indeed.
Okay.
Montez Sweat's not enough for you. Are you pairing Montez Sweat with someone else, with Dallas Turner somehow?
Uh, I mean, two premium edge rushers. You can never run out. Like there's like who would want to run out of edge rushers? Injuries happen. You know, I mean, following the
I
like
think
the you know Houston's blueprint last year worked. I mean, is Will Anderson and Dallas Turner comparable? I don't know, like talent wise specifically.
With the whole injuries happen thing, shouldn't that be like a later round thing to build depth? Or
I
like
mean, yeah, but if a premium edge rusher is available, why not take him? Obviously, you have your quarterback already. I mean, you could go, you could try and get Caleb. You get Caleb Williams a weapon, but like, is there premium weapons at 9? You could trade back. I mean, you could do that too, but
he can't play D tackle, and they need a D tackle, so they're going to draft Byron Murphy, who scored a 9.9 on his RAS, and he's going to be goaded for the Bears.
you guys are not gonna like where I have Byron Murphy going. But okay, okay.
all right, so me and Alec had Murphy for that. Gavin had Turner. Interesting. So, moving on now. Pick number 10, the New York Jets. Um, you know, I would say with where they're at with Aaron Rodgers, this has to be a very good draft for them. This can be a draft whenever they're building for the future. It is win now for the New York Jets. So I would say that they go with a premium weapon, or that was weird to say, premium weapon, like the best weapon available. I if Odunze was here, I would say they get Odunze. I could possibly see Brian Thomas going here, but you know, the guy we talked about all offseason for the Bengals, Brock Bowers. I have Brock Bowers being the top weapon available here, and he's going to the Jets.
Interesting. Alec, do you want to go? Because
Yeah,
I know that you guys aren't gonna like my pick, but like I think the way I thought about it to myself, it made sense.
yeah. I also have Brock Bowers going to the Jets. Yeah, they met with him, and I think so. At this point in the draft, all the weapons, I think the top tier weapons will be off the board,
Yeah.
and they need another weapon to go with Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson needs someone on that offense that can get open. I think Bowers can do that, and I think that's who they pick.
Okay. I think that obviously, like Gunnar said, it's win now, right? So with Aaron Rodgers tearing his Achilles on what the third play of the first game of last season, I think that's in the Jets GM's head. I mean, you could go a playmaker, which is, I mean, the premium ones besides Bowers are all taken at the moment. But I think the Aaron Rodgers injury plays into this pick just a little bit. They want to protect him a little bit more than what they did previously. So they take Fuaga out of Oregon State, the second
Yeah, I could
tackle.
definitely see that happening. Like
They
that's
totally just spend a bag in free agency on O-line. Totally didn't. I mean, it still makes sense to draft an O-line, I know, but they're going all in. They know their defense is a championship defense. They're drafting Bowers, and they're going to win the AFC East. Hot take.
Really
hmm.
interesting.
All right. So Gavin had Wagga going here. Moving on. So, and the one that I had with trades, the previous pick is where I had Fuaga going to the Titans after that trade with the Bears. Um, so then, obviously, number 11 for my trade one would be the Patriots, and I had to get him McCarthy there. So I would say, regardless, McCarthy goes to the Patriots in both of my scenarios. Um, but in this one, it's the Vikings picking. Desperately need a quarterback. Jaden Daniels will not have to change his jersey colors because he'll go right here.
I like Jaden Daniels. I mean, I just think he gets higher. Like you said, you had JJ McCarthy to the Patriots. From all the things that I've seen and read about the draft, I've seen the Vikings very interested in JJ McCarthy. Whether they trade up tomorrow night or not, here they are at pick 11. McCarthy's available. That's who they take. They take JJ McCarthy at pick 11. Boomer bust. I don't know. I'd probably lean more towards bust. I mean, maybe you call me an Ohio State homer. I just don't see, like, talent wise, how much JJ McCarthy translates to the NFL, especially like without the talent around him. Had a very good run game, very good offensive line at Michigan that could hide his weaknesses. Didn't necessarily have to throw at the end of games. Like, as you can see at the Penn State game, ran it 20 plus straight times. Didn't have to throw it. Didn't have to go win a game with his arm. In the NFL, there's going to be situations in which you have to do that. Can he do that? That's to be determined. But from what I've seen, it's the Vikings that take McCarthy here at 11.
All right.
So we all have the Vikings taking a different quarterback with this pick.
Yeah.
On my mock, I have the Vikings taking Drake May. Yeah, it's bad for Justin Jefferson. If you think Drake May's good, just watch the Virginia game from last year. He's
Whenever
he's
Hyatt
bun.
won a band.
Yeah, yeah. Drake May is trash. He's gonna be the reason why Jefferson doesn't resign in Minnesota. He signs with the Bengals next year.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that. I like that.
yeah, I would say with that, the whole factor with Justin Jefferson, like future Hall of Famer, you know, it'll depend on like the quarterback that he has on if he stays. I mean, it'll be one of the many factors. But so I think this guy's going to compel them to trade up and get their guy. So, you know, we'll see what happens. But obviously, if they stay put at number 11, then my scenario, it's Jaden Daniels. But I don't know how that's going to shake out. I'm not very high on Jaden Daniels. Yeah, like Gavin said, Mickey Mouse Heisman, forgettable Heisman. But yeah, for number 12, the Broncos, they're also in need of a quarterback. So I'm going to go back to back quarterbacks. They will get Bo Nix.
Yeah, I agree. I think obviously the Russell Wilson experiment has been pretty lackluster. If I do say so myself, paying him all that money, especially like bringing in Sean Payton to potentially fix Russell Wilson's weaknesses that he displayed the year prior to last. Um, Obviously, it didn't work. So starting out fresh, Bo Nix out of Oregon, experienced, played in the SEC before the final year of the Pac-12, knows how to compete with talented players, things like that. Experienced, a little old for draft, from a draft perspective, a little bit older, but you get your guy. Russell Wilson could potentially mentor him. No, he's not even there. Russell Wilson's not even there. I'm stupid. He's on the Steelers. What am I thinking?
Zach
What am I
Wilson
thinking?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bengals,
started.
yeah, the
yeah. What am I
experiment.
thinking? What am I thinking? I'm tripping. Like I said, we're in baseball mode. I haven't.
Your last
Yeah,
words, little bro.
yeah. But Bo Nix is the pick here at number 12. Experienced guy out of Oregon, has played in talented conferences his collegiate career. So that's who they have. And Sean Payton, obviously, there to mentor him as well. So Bo Nix is the pick at number 12 out of Oregon.
Alec, what are your thoughts? Have you
Yeah,
made your pick yet?
no. I also have them getting Bo Nix. They think he's going to be Mickey Mouse John Elway, uh, but he's not. He's also buns like the rest of the quarterbacks in this class.
Besides Caleb
Uh,
Williams, right?
The whole entire history of like the Broncos drafting quarterbacks is so piss poor. Whenever they had Manning, they went from Paxton Paxton
Lynch.
Lynch. Who was the other guy? Trevor Simeon?
Yeah, they had Simeon before. So they went from
They
Simeon
didn't
to
draft
Lynch. And then um, I'm blanking on who they had
Drew
before
Lock.
Russell Wilson. Yeah, Drew
Paxton
Lock
Lynch,
as
Drew Lock.
well. Yeah.
Um, I feel like there's more, but I
Drew
don't
Lock
know.
got a weird. Where did Drew Lock go to college?
Missouri.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Damn.
Missouri.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was,
Uh,
I was, I was,
hopefully,
I,
someone let Zach.
I was blanking for a second. Sorry.
Hopefully, someone let Zach Wilson know that like they're still drafting Bo Nix. Like he's still ass. Like on a new team, you're still going to be buns as well.
I'm curious to see your guys' pick at 13.
At number 13, this is probably pretty unrealistic, but with it being the Raiders, you're gonna have to get a little desperate. Um, if they don't trade up, um, they still need a quarterback. I don't know what their room is right now, Gardner Minshew, and
Jimmy G, right?
do they still have Garoppolo on the team?
I think they released him.
Yeah,
Well,
Gavin.
then that makes my pick way more realistic.
I
So
think I saw Jimmy G working at the Dollar General in Hunter the other day.
pretty handsome fella working at the Hunter Dollar General. Facts.
What?
He's bagging my candy.
True. Uh,
Well, I have Michael Penix Jr. going to the Las Vegas Raiders. So Gavin had a pretty big reaction to that. So what is your pick?
I just agree. Michael Penix goes at 13, three straight quarterbacks. This is a pretty loaded quarterback draft if we haven't mentioned that previously. They
Yeah.
need a quarterback. Michael Penix can. I don't know how well he's going to survive the bright lights of Vegas. Like they want to start to compete, obviously building that new stadium, hosting the Super Bowl this past year. They want to start being able to compete. And I think Michael Penix Jr. is a big swing in the right direction, whether that pans out. I mean, injury concerns, obviously. Um, the two torn ACLs do, I mean, they do bring up kind of a risk, but if it's a boom pick, then Penix is a great player. Southpaw out of Washington, he's going to Vegas. at number 13.
All right.
Is that what you originally had?
To me, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had, that's what I've had this whole time.
Okay. I have the Raiders making a good pick here. I have them drafting Terrion Arnold. I think Arnold's going to be a stud, and they need a DB. Yeah, I feel like nobody knew about Terrion Arnold until like this past season. He balled out. Everybody was talking about Kool-Aid McKinstry, and Terrion Arnold was the true best secondary player on Bama's defense, and I think that's who they get here.
Okay. Well, number 14, Saints. So Saints, I have their knees down as left tackle, pass rush, tight end. Um, but obviously they could add. They got Brian Breesy on the defensive line. I think the defensive line was bottom three, I believe, with generating pressure or something. I forget what that stat was. I saw, but um, you know, bottom line is they need a good pass rusher, especially on the interior. Um, that guy is Jerzon Newton. I have Jerzon Newton going 14 to the Saints in my mock draft.
Gavin, you want me to go?
I can go if you need me to.
Gavin's making his pick right now.
No, I was just looking to see where I had your Newton because it wasn't here.
Okay.
But yeah, okay. I was looking. Sorry, my phone is right here. That's where my mock draft is. It's off my phone. So, okay, at number 14, the Saints. Obviously, they added, like Gunnar said, they needed edge help, but I feel like they added edge help in free agency with the addition of Chase Young. Does that help necessarily more interior? Not exactly, but to add another pass rusher in the mix. Have Brian Brzee get another year under him as well. Showed flashes during his rookie year at Clemson. I have him taking a playmaker. And I have him, this could be a surprise. I have him taking he's gonna walk out because I didn't have the premier playmaker that they took. I have him taking Adonai Mitchell to pair with Chris Olave out of Texas. Out of Texas. Brian Thomas is still available, but I think they like the speedster out of Texas, ran the fastest 40. Adonai Mitchell out of Texas goes number 14 overall to the New Orleans Saints.
Wait, didn't Xavier Worthy run the fastest 40?
Oh, is that the wrong one? It might have been Worthy. But anyway, in other words, they take Adonai Mitchell. Showed flashes at Texas. I like him over I like him over Brian Thomas at the time. At the time I like it. So
Okay.
we'll take Adonai Mitchell at number 14, get a playmaker to pair with Olave out of Texas.
A block for Derek Carr. Nobody. Adonai Mitchell's gonna play left tackle for the Saints. Shit stain.
I'm just looking at where I have Brian Thomas. Okay, I was just seeing where I had Brian Thomas going.
What? All right, I've heard enough. The Saints are getting Fashanu out of Penn State. It makes sense.
Good pick.
They originally had Fashanu like being a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
And I think the Saints needed, what is it? Do they need a left or right tackle?
Left tackle.
Left tackle, yeah. I think Fashanu goes to the Saints here. That'd be sweet if Adonai Mitchell goes to the Saints and he doesn't go to the AFC because I think Adonai Mitchell is a stud. But
Yeah.
And he was flipping out over the fact that I had him.
He'll be better than T. Higgins.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, looking at my mock, it would really make sense if the Saints did go tackle. but I don't know. I mean, it just depends. I could see Johnny Newton going that high just because, like I said before, interior pass rushers are at a premium right now. So, but yeah,
Does anybody got the Reds game? Anybody got a score?
I should get my cheeseburger.
Espinal hit a wait. What the hell? It says Espinal singles in the bottom of the sixth, 2-run score. Reds tied the Phillies, and it says 5-3.
So 5-3 Reds or 5-3 Phillies?
Reds.
Okay.
But yeah, so number 15. Damn, we're not even halfway through, and we're
I
like,
know, but we could speak. No offense to our previous co-hosts, Mr. Creech and Mr. Hoffman. We can speak like how. What is there like analytically, like for like to speak with analysis about each player? It's I don't know. It's easier for us to do so.
yeah.
So who is your pick? 15, Gunner.
15 is where I have Cooper DeJean. I had him
Interesting.
going to the Colts because let's see, for the Colts, I have them as needing an offensive weapon or a corner. For a lot of outlets, this is the best player available pick as well. So a lot of people are high on Cooper DeJean. I think he'd be a perfect fit with the Colts. He stays in the Midwest. I feel like Iowa and the Colts sort of have a similar aura to them, or I don't know. Like, I figured it'd be a very good fit for them. So that's my pick for number 15.
All right, Alec, who do you have at number 15 going to the Colts?
I also have them getting a DB, but I have them getting Nate Wiggins out of Clemson.
Okay.
Yeah, they need a DB. They still have Kenny Moore in the slot. I think they just paid Kenny Moore a bag too. They need a boundary corner, and Nate Wiggins is that. So that's who they get.
I agree with both of you. In my mock draft, Cooper DeJean obviously went in the top 10 to your guys' dismay to the Falcons. So that leaves Quinton Mitchell out of Toledo still available. So I have him falling to the Colts and them getting themselves a lockdown corner out of Toledo, Quinton Mitchell at number 15.
I hate you.
It's like I'm gonna be honest. I'm looking at this now, and I'm really like buffing up the AFC. Like I'm screwing the Bengals over with some of these picks, but all in good fun, correct?
Yep. Yeah. So moving on to number 16. I'm not high on this player at all, but Seattle desperately needs edge rushers. You know, I probably should have said Dallas Turner here because I don't have him going yet, but I have Latu from UCLA going here to the Seahawks. I feel like geographically it's a better fit for them. I don't know. I can definitely see that happening. You know, overall athletic player, a bit undersized though, but if a team can use him correctly, I think he can be very good in the NFL. So that's my thought on number 16.
I agree. I also have Latu going at number 16. Like you said, it works geographically. I didn't watch a lot of UCLA football this year. Obviously, they were kind of a dumpster fire. I mean, hopefully with their new coach that they can potentially turn around. Obviously, moving to a bigger, better conference could stop them in their tracks with their rebuild process, but it really just depends on what pieces they get there and how well they fit specifically. But I also have a lot too going here. They needed edge help. Dallas Turner's gone. This isn't a guard deep class or a guard deep first round specifically. So that was their number one need for me. So I have them going Latu because Dallas Turner's gone. He's the next best edge rusher. They had the secondary figured out as well. They have Witherspoon and
Tariq Shikan.
yeah.
Yeah, he played poorly last year. His rookie year was goated. But for Seattle, I have them getting Troy Fatanu, possible guard action,
Potentially.
undersized. He could be a guard in the league. I think the Seattle drafts him.
Hmm. Kind of a surprise with him going that high. I don't know. I mean, PFF is very high on him. I've seen a lot of like Bengals fans like really do not want him there at number 18. Um, I don't know. Um, but yeah, Gavin, what was your pick for that team again?
It was Latu. It was the same as you. I
Latu.
was picking Latu as well.
Yeah, the Latu pick makes sense, but
Just because Dallas Turner's gone, next best edge, in my opinion.
So my pick for number 17, the Jags, is Terrion Arnold. He kind of slipped too far on my mock. Going to be a very good corner. Um, for the Jags, I had their needs as a corner slash D tackle. They get the best corner available, and I think it's a great fit. He stays in the South, and they fill a big need for them.
I have them getting Quinyon Mitchell. I know you guys already have him off your board, but I have him falling just because played in the MAC and like I don't know about you guys, but I didn't hear about Quinyon Mitchell until the Senior Bowl.
Really,
Yeah, and
I
I
knew
feel
about
like
Mitchell like before the season was over. I guess before the MAC championship. You never heard of him?
it feels like a very Jags-esque pick for them to take Quinyon Mitchell. Like
Yeah,
I can't see them getting Tyrion Arnold. Can't see them getting maybe Nate Wiggins. I feel like they will take Mitchell.
yeah. The Jags and Clemson connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, those are both good picks. Jacksonville could use a DB, which I agree with, but I think O line is also a need as well. Specifically guard, but there's not really any guards available. I have them taking Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon. You could potentially move him to guard or anywhere along the interior offensive line. So that's why I have the Oregon center falling to is Jacksonville. They're addressing their O line, give Trevor Lawrence potentially some more protection, better run blocking for Travis Etienne. I think a
If they
solid.
didn't pick line first round last year, then yeah, but they picked O-line first last year.
I don't know. I haven't seen that much about Power Johnson being a guard. I guess he is pretty athletic and versatile, but you know, I feel like he'll be a center his freshman his rookie year. Um, but yeah, and just spending a premium pick on a center seems kind of crazy, but he is a very safe pick, I would say. So I can kind of see that. Um, but now for the main event of this mock draft, number 18, Cincinnati Bengals are on the clock. um, so I mean, in my mock draft, I have a dream scenario for the Bengals because you have he just ran out of his chair. We have Fuaga on the board, Dallas Turner, Mims, Fatanu, Mitchell, Wiggins, Fashanu, Barton, Verse. You know, I mean, we've seen the Bengals linked to Nate Wiggins. I think we just saw a recent mock draft of them getting Verse. I don't think Barton's going to go that high. Um, but obviously with Mims, we've seen them linked to Mims. Receiver, who knows what they'll do with receiver. I see that as like a later round pick, especially, obviously slot is the immediate need. Eventually they'll have to replace T. Higgins. Um, and overall just build more depth. Ayush Voss can be a solid four. Um, Charlie Jones can pack his bags, I guess. I don't know what to say about Charlie Jones. They didn't plan that much. Like it was a lost season and they didn't plan that much. So I don't know. I don't know what to think about Charlie Jones, but if he is starting in the slot in game one, like without any injury to any player or anything, then there has been a major, major mistake made by the Bengals front office. You have a very unproven player, and you say you're trying to win a Super Bowl, but yet Charlie Jones is starting slot. That would be malpractice. But then again, uh, they've sort of fixed the right tackle issue for a year.
Are you hungry,
Spent
Bob?
a lot of money on the offensive line. They have not been able to hit on an offensive tackle pick or any offensive line pick I've mentioned recently. But there is a guy on my board right now for number 18 that can make an immediate impact. Um, I could say you could play him at guard first and then move him over to right tackle next year. Delise Fuaga. I know Gavin had him going, I believe, top 10 maybe, or number 10, number 9. Um,
Yeah, I had him at number 10. Jets.
in this scenario, I have Fuaga dropping all the way to 18, right into Duke Tobin's lap, and that's who they're going to pick at number 18.
Great pick. I agree. Drafting offensive line does scare me ever so slightly, just because of our past draft picks, including said position, have not worked out fantastically great. Jonah Williams, Jackson Carmen, to name a couple off the top of my head. And last year, big rumbles about us drafting a big premier tight end, whether that have been Kincaid or Michael Mayer or Darnell Washington, any of those three players, just to name a few. Obviously, getting Gesicki in free agency is going to help, but I think that this is where we select our premier tight end. Another potential diamond in the rough type of talent. Sliding to 18 is kind of iffy because he's that talented, one of the better players in this class, I would say.
Yeah.
But I have them getting Brock Bowers out of Georgia, which would solidify their playmaking group, potentially give reason for Higgins to stay. Maybe if they're good enough, forming a good playmaking core or something like that. But just giving Joe Burrow yet another weapon as well. So Brock Bowers to the Bengals at number 18. That's what I have them going with.
Yeah, I mean,
Premier tight end talent.
I don't see him dropping that far. I mean, tight end, yes, but he could be an amazing receiver in the slot as well. Also a good pass blocker, also a good run blocker. Um, you know, especially for the Bengals, if you had Brock Bowers, you don't need to have Drew Sample come in on pass plays and then, or I don't know, like the way that they switch out the tight ends, it's so obvious what the play is going to be, and you don't need to bring in Drew Sample to go, and shotgun and whatever. And I don't know. It's, yeah, I don't see Bowers dropping that much, but I guess we have heard things about how teams aren't that high on him, I guess. Um, I guess he did have some injury concerns and he didn't really test fully, or I don't know if he really tested at all. But so that was very underwhelming. We all wanted to see his RAS score. We did not get that. But Alec, what is your pick for the Bengals at number 18?
I really wanted to see them get Bowers, but I don't think it happens. I mean, we all know that they can't draft O linemen to save their life,
Yeah.
but I think if they get this guy, it'll change that perspective. I also have them getting Talise Fuaga. I think he could possibly be the best tackle in the class. And Trent Brown just on a 1-year deal, so it makes sense for them. I mean, even before they got him,
The bridge player.
yeah, I think they draft him, even though I want them to draft Bowers as well. Yeah.
If it came down to like both guys were on your guys' board, Bowers and Fuaga, who do you want the Bengals to pick?
I
Fuaga
mean,
and Bowers,
Yeah.
probably Fuaga.
it's kind of like the Sewell Chase question. Do you want a playmaker? Do you want an offensive lineman? I think at that point, like, like contradicting what I said, like in my mock draft, like I guess you would take the offensive lineman this time, right? I mean, you've already rolled the dice on a playmaker, got a really good one, so why not try and do the same with the
In
franchise
my
tackle?
opinion, this is a horrible tight end class. Outside of Bowers and Sennett and maybe Eric All, there are no tight end ones in this draft. Um, so I think, if you were going to get a tight end in like the second or third round or whatever, the time to do that would have been last year, not this year. So I think, and this is also a very deep tackle class as well. Overall, great offensive line class. I think you can afford to take Bowers here and then get a solid tackle later that can be an upgrade over Trent Brown. Or get, a guy you can play at guard in the mid to right tackle as well. A guy that can be an upgrade over should ask Cordell Volson or Jackson Carmen or whoever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and even if you are looking for a right tackle or whatever, would you really want to spend that on a guy who's probably not going to start till halfway through the year, and then it might not even start till next year? In the first round, I wouldn't do that. I don't think. But obviously, Fuaga is a very good talent. It could be one of the best offensive tackles in the league in the next few years. But if they are in win now mode, like they said, and the goal this year is a Super Bowl, the best way to do that would be Bowers. So that's my thoughts on that question. But yep. So number 19, team that Aaron Donald has retired from playing for, the Los Angeles Rams. So with the Rams, I have edge as one of their top needs, and so to fill that, I have Dallas Turner going here. He was my top player left on the board. Probably not going to drop this far, but the way it shakes out, this is the way I had it. So yeah, Dallas Turner going to the Rams. I think it will be a dream pick for them, really. So yeah, Gavin, what are your thoughts?
I like that pick. I mean, obviously Dallas Turner's not still there on my board. The Rams kind of puzzled me. They have a lot of needs in my opinion. How many good years are you gonna get out of Stafford? How long is McVay gonna be there still? You know what I'm saying? Obviously Aaron Donald retiring, so that makes D line a big position of need. But I actually have him going safe here. I have him going the tackle out of Washington, Fontenot, Joe Moore Award winner. you know, Safe pick. Give Matthew Stafford a little bit more protection, potentially build more pieces around the offensive line as well. So I'm going Fontenot out of Washington. Like I said, Joe Moore Award winner. Safe pick. That
Is
was
that
what
how you
puzzled me though. What?
Alton now?
Yeah. Whatever his name is. I don't
I thought it
know.
was you.
You thought it was what? You thought it was what?
Fadanu.
Anu.
Oh, did I say it wrong? Fatanu.
It could be Fatanu, it could be Fatnu, who knows?
Troy Fatanu, whatever his name is, Troy out of Washington is going to the Rams at 19.
I have the Rams getting someone that the Bengals might draft. I have them getting Johnny Newton to replace Mr. Aaron Donald.
That'd be a perfect replacement for them, I think.
Yeah, I think if they don't draft Johnny Newton, they could go the edge route. And if they draft an edge, watch out for Chop Robinson going there.
Ah.
Ooh, Chop Robinson.
Chop and cheese.
I don't know if I have Chop Robinson in my first round.
I don't have Cooper DeJean in my first round. Chid Stain.
I still don't know where Chop Robinson's going to play in the NFL. I've seen people say he should play a linebacker, but he's so undersized. I don't even know if he even tested that well. I'll have to check, but yeah, I don't know. Watching his film, nothing really stuck out to me. I remember early mock drafts in January, February had him going like top 20 or even top 10, I think. And it's just like, nah. Like
he is buns. I remember he got hurt against Ohio State, and he wasn't having an impact anyway.
Yeah.
But I can see the Rams drafting him.
Yeah.
Might end up at the Commerce McDonald's.
Yeah. Hopefully he can light up the other side of the fucking menu next
How long
time.
is this call? Can we figure that out? Like, does it say anywhere?
This is 4 hours and 3 minutes.
Yeah,
No.
can you stick to the program, Cooper DeJean?
Well, we started probably like 7:40, so.
Yeah, it's what are we at? Like one. I don't know.
You got a date or something?
No, I was just wondering. Like, I mean, Gunner's gonna have to chop this shit up hella, unless he's gonna leave it uncut.
Chop Rob.
I mean, I usually like leave it uncut. I just like edit the beginning and end, like the whatever.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
your editing style is not my concern. But it's up to you. That sounded wrong. It's up to you is essentially what I was trying to say. It sounded like I was being a prick, but I wasn't trying to be.
All right. Number 20, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Horrible offensive line. They go Amarius Mims here from Georgia. Seems like a Tomlin kind of player to me. I don't know.
I saw a lot of mocks with Mims going to the Steelers. I know they picked Broderick Jones last year, first round. And I guess it makes sense to get another tackle opposite side of him, also from Georgia. But I have them getting Jackson Powers Johnson to fill their interior need.
I hate this as a Bengals fan, but like you said, they took Broderick Jones last year. You know, I think you need to give whoever you're going to play at the quarterback position, whether that be Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. I think you need to give them a weapon. So you take the number 2 out of LSU, Brian Thomas Jr., the wide receiver. I have him going at 20 to the Steelers. I don't like it. I don't want him as a division rival. I really don't. But to pair him with George Pickens, give a nice little 1-2 punch, give Justin Fields or Russell Wilson a playmaker on the outside to pair with Pickens as well. So they also have Darnell Washington from last year's draft class. So they're forming some weapons up there, and that's what they add to here. At number 20, they take Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU.
Brian Thomas is going to be serving pizzas at Piscinello's here in a couple of months. That's what I think of Brian Thomas. So, yeah, I think he can agree to that.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Hey. You think that, sir?
I hope the Steelers draft Brian Thomas. That'd be
I
awesome.
don't. I don't. I think he's gonna be good.
All right, number 21, the Miami Dolphins. So for the Dolphins, obviously a lot of losses in the trenches from free agency. I think the best player available to start rebuilding is Troy Fatanu.
I don't know. Whatever.
Fatanu, yeah. I have him going to the Dolphins at number 21. Gavin, what is your pick?
At number 21, like you said, BPA lost stuff in the trenches. They need a signature defensive trench piece. He's still available on my board. Byron Murphy, the second out of Texas, falls to the Dolphins at 20.
Geez, Murphy's going low as fuck for you.
Yeah, that's Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. That'd be huge if the Dolphins got Byron Murphy. Like Dolphins came away with a steal if that happens.
Yeah.
Who is the edge rusher they got a year or two ago that was late or later? He just got hurt. Like it was
Jalen.
yeah.
Yeah. If Big Money sees this, I'm sorry, but I don't know who the hell your Dolphins are gonna pick. I picked. What number is this?
21.
21.
Big Money. I'm sorry. I have you guys getting J.C. Latham to pair opposite side of Teron Armstead. I don't. Who knows? Like I have no clue who the hell they're gonna pick. They need a D tackle, but I have all the D tackles gone at that point. So J.C. Latham, here you go, Big Money.
All right. Shout out to Big Money. Number 22 now, the former NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles. So for the Eagles, receiver, I think is a need for them, um, as well as secondary. Um, I don't know. I'm also kind of high on Adonai Mitchell. I think the Eagles will get Adonai Mitchell. They'll kind of go BPA since they're at 22. They could go either way. They could go Nate Wiggins or they could go Adonai Mitchell because I still have Wiggins on my board. But I had them getting Adonai Mitchell out of Texas. The would be the T. Higgins replacement for the Bengals if they would get him because they're built exactly the same and Mitchell's going to be better. But, yep, that's my pick for 22.
Okay, 22 for me. It just seems this seems like an Eagles pick. Like you said, they need secondary help. For some reason, studs just fall into the Eagles' laps. For some reason, no matter what pick they're at, getting Jalen Carter at either 9 or 10 last year. I forget which one it was. It was either 9 or 10. But Jalen Carter fell to them then. So I have a potential stud corner and Terrion Arnold falling to the Eagles at 22. They always seem to get lucky with prized defensive prospects falling into their laps at later draft picks. So that's what happens again here today. As Arnold falls to them out of Alabama.
I have them. I wouldn't be shocked if they trade up, but because it's Philly, like they'll do whatever, like they'll do what the hell they want. But I have them getting Kool-Aid McKinstry.
I've seen like a lot of mocks of him mocked to the Eagles for like months, which
Yeah.
it would make sense, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I really haven't done my research on Kool-Aid McKinstry. I just know like a lot of Cowboy fans like didn't want him. I saw that on Twitter, I think, one day. But I don't know. I feel like the Cowboys could get like a wacky named corner named Kool-Aid McKinstry. But Um, moving on to pick 23. Um, well, that pick wasn't via the Texans. It was via the Browns, I guess. Or Browns, Texans to the Vikings. That makes sense. So pick number 23, the Minnesota Vikings. Wiggins is the BPA on my board. So I think they go um, Wiggins because they need secondary help overall. So that's my pick for number 23.
I agree. They do need help in the secondary. That could very well be in play. Nate Wiggins is also still available on my board, but I have them addressing the defensive trenches, and I have them drafting DeJean Newton out of Illinois. Just bolster up that defensive front. Pair him with Daniil Hunter. Pair him with Daniil Hunter. Pair him with Daniil Hunter.
Hey, Daniil Hunter is on the Texans.
Oh shit. Well,
Oh.
replace him then. Give him some interior, help. I feel like Creech right now. God. Hey, what's the score of the Reds game, sir?
They're winning. I'd change the subject too. So, yeah.
That doesn't change the fact that I would have him addressing the trenches.
They're
Okay,
losing
Daniil Hunter's
7-6.
going.
Well, they're not going to draft a DT here. They're going to draft an
They're up
edge.
6-4.
They're going to draft an edge to replace Daniil Hunter.
I haven't taken the DT.
That's not going to happen, Shitstain. They're going to draft an edge. Jared Verse, Florida State.
Hey, that's your perspective. I'm not tripping.
All right, pick 24, Dallas Cowboys. They're going to go best tackle on the board, which is Fashanu from Penn State. That is my pick for number 24. Gavin, thoughts?
I agree. I have exactly that. I have them taking Shanu. He fell in my board because I watched him get bullied by JTT in the Ohio State game. So the Cowboys need a tackle. Shanu fits what they're looking for. That's who they go with at 24.
Gotcha. Alec, what is your take for this team?
They need a tackle. I still have Mims on my board. I think they go Mims, but I would not be surprised if Adonai Mitchell goes to the Cowboys.
I can see that.
Which I think I think the Cowboys have realized CeeDee Lamb can't do it all himself.
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks is older than old. And Adonai Mitchell would be a good pick for them, but
Yeah.
they'll probably go tackle. And I got him getting Mims.
Yeah. All right, on to Charles's team. The Green Bay Packers at pick number 25. My pick for them is a guy I've had going to the Packers forever. He seems like a Green Bay Packer. Graham Barton. I have their needs on here. Offensive line as their top need. I've seen so many sources and experts or whatever say that this is where Cooper DeJean will go. I think he won't be there. I mean, if he is, then yeah, he is through and through a Packer if he is there. But I just don't think he is. So my pick is Graham Barton from Duke for the Green Bay Packers. Gavin, your thoughts?
I agree they go offensive line, but I don't have Graham Barton going just yet. So I have them taking one of the last tackles available in J.C. Latham out of Alabama. Doesn't really seem like a Packer, but potentially is still there on my board. They need it.
Did Latham test that well? Because the Packers always go for linemen with very high RAS scores. That historically, that's what they've always drafted, or historically, obviously past 4 or 5 seasons. But yeah.
I'm not familiar with his RAS score, but That's what I have them going with. I don't know. Maybe it's against the grain. Maybe Packers switch it up. Maybe go with you know program, familiarity. Get the tackle out of Alabama. Latham goes at 25 to the Packers.
I also have them getting a tackle. I have them getting Tyler Guyton.
Oh,
Packers pick Mr. Guyton.
hmm.
Birthday, Charles.
All right. With Tampa Bay at 26, their BPA best player left on my board at this point would be Jared Verse. Jared Verse, welcome to Tampa Bay. Does not have to leave his state. So, that'd be an awesome pick for them, in my opinion. Gavin, what are your thoughts?
Jared Verse, welcome to Tampa. I agree. Doesn't have to leave his home state. BPA, their top needs I have here are running back, offensive line. Not a first round caliber running back in this year's class, in my opinion. So BPA, Jared Verse, welcome to Tampa, like you said.
I have them also getting an edge. I have this guy falling because of his undersize.
Undersizement?
Undersizement. His name is Latu. Going to the Bucks. What's so funny, Shitstay?
I don't know, just how you said it. That too was funny. I don't know.
Latu.
Oh, I'm geeking. All right.
All right, moving on. 27, the Cardinals pick once again. And they get J.C. Latham. Sadly for them, but yeah, J.C. Latham.
I had them addressing, obviously they picked a playmaker, addressing the other side of the ball, going defense with their second pick here in the first round. They get Kool-Aid McKinstry out of Alabama.
Mm.
That's not a bad assumption. Get you one on the board there.
Thanks. Appreciate it. I try.
I think the Cardinals go guard here. I think they go. This is an Arizona pick. Christian Haynes, guard out of
First round. Wow.
UConn. Yeah, they really need a guard. They
The
drafted Paris.
UConn first rounder in football.
I still don't know if Zach Frazier will be like a guard or anything. Like if he's like exclusively a center or what. But yeah, I mean Haynes would be great for the Bengals in second or third round, I think. But yeah, seeing him in the first round be a surprise to me. But he can be a very good player as a guard, in my opinion. So now we have the Buffalo Bills at number 28. Obviously, desperately need a receiver. And they get Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU at this pick. Obviously, not very high on Brian Thomas Jr., but so that'd be good for the Bengals, for the Bills to get him. But yeah, Brian Thomas Jr., Buffalo Bill.
Alec, do you want to go second this time, or?
Yeah, I also had the Bills getting Brian Piscinello's Thomas Jr. Yeah, he's gonna be buns. Buffalo's gonna be buns, and yeah, I mean they should draft Keon Coleman if they want to win. I think Keon Coleman's gonna be a lot better than Brian Thomas, but Keon Coleman's dropped a lot recently and on a lot of boards for some reason.
Let's hear it, Gavin.
So you had Brian Thomas going to the Bills. He's not on my board. I have him going at 20 to Pittsburgh. I don't know. I think they go somewhat BPA here. I have him taking, because he's still available on my board, I have him taking Amarius Mims, the tackle out of Georgia.
Hmm.
He walked off. He also muted himself too, so.
Yeah, someone called him.
Oh, I got you. He might be walking off because of the phone call. Maybe not because of my pick.
Mims to the Bills.
So they just re-signed DeJean. They just re-signed DeJean Dawkins.
Okay, and they can't draft a tackle because of that?
No,
I mean, they could. I think they could.
You're not going to draft Amarius Mims. If they do, bank account will be sent to you.
Okay, that's fine. What is that? The second time his bank account? Okay, so the first one was the bank account. The next one, I want the savings account.
All right, moving on to number 29.
That's a bank account, a savings account.
The Detroit Lions top two needs are cornerback and receiver. I have them getting Kool-Aid McKinstry, who is still on my board at number 29. Gavin, your thoughts?
I also have him going corner. He's still available on my board. Nate Wiggins out of Clemson falls into the Lions' lap. Good pick, good value for the Lions here at 29.
All right.
Alec?
Wait, did you already go, Gunner? I shut my computer.
Yeah, I said Kool-Aid
We
McKinstry.
saw that. Sorry.
I don't know who the hell the Lions get here. I guess they get another edge to pair with Hutchinson and shitty ass Chop Robinson. I don't know. That's who I wrote down, but
Chop.
they just picked up
Gavin walked off.
the stud cornerback from the Bucks. What's his name?
Winfield? Or no, that's his.
Jamel Dean?
Lamonte. Is it something Davis? Carlton Davis?
Carlton Davis, yeah. So I don't think I mean, they could get another corner opposite side of him. Gavin, sit your sorry ass down. Yeah, your weak ass Beatles poster back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, with your little LED lights.
Yeah.
All right, number 30, the shitty Baltimore Ravens. Piss on them. For the Ravens, I had them getting Troy Franklin out of Oregon. Lengthy guy, very fast, great rack receiver. I think he fits the Ravens scheme a bit and what they're looking for in a receiver. So yeah, I think he definitely goes 30 to the Ravens.
I completely agree. He just seems like a Raven. Troy Franklin just seems like a Raven. Like you said, he fits marginally well into their scheme. Lengthy, good RAS score, like you said. So Troy Franklin's a Baltimore Raven at number 30 out of Oregon. Excuse me, sir.
What do you mean, excuse me, sir? You had Cooper DeJean going 8, so you should be dismissed. Okay? Yeah.
God forbid I throw a curveball in there.
Yeah, and I took that curveball 450 feet. Yeah. I have Baltimore getting Jordan Morgan, tackle.
Yeah, I considered that, but I wasn't sure if he'd go first round. So it's kind of like a slightly like BPA for their needs, sort of, and receiver fits their needs. I think. Um, but yeah. I have another Oregon player going on the next pick because JPJ is still on my board. Um, I think he could play as a guard with the 49ers. 49ers need offensive line help. Um, he'd be an immediate starter on the offensive line for the 49ers.
Yeah, I agree. They need help on the offensive line. Protect Purdy a little bit more. Maybe push for another Super Bowl run potentially. Um, he's still on my board, but I have him going Graham Barton out of Duke tackle. But I also have him addressing offensive line as well.
I think they could go Graham Barton as well, but I have them getting the BYU tackle. Kingsley Tuama.
Yeah, I agree. So we all agree they address their offensive line. Okay.
No. Oh, for the Niners, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, the last pick. We've made it. We've made it here, folks. Thank God it's been
The Chiefs go receiver. Lad McConkey.
that actually seems like a good pick. I didn't have any like for the first round. I didn't think there was any other first round caliber receivers. So I have them going BPA, and I have them addressing their defensive line trenches and Braden Biskey out of Florida State. That's who I have going to the Chiefs at 32.
Hmm.
Is he a DT?
Yeah, he's not an edge.
I have the Kansas City Chiefs getting Xavier Worthy.
Which is
Sadly.
another good pick.
Which, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I probably should have had Worthy going in my first round because of his
Me too, because of his speed.
combine performance and stuff. It'd be hard to see him drop out of the first round, but I mean, after John Ross, I mean, obviously speed matters, but it's not everything. But I would say Worthy is a better all around prospect than John Ross was. So, but yeah, so that about wraps it up.
Let's go. Yeah.
Longest podcast we've ever had, I think.
Yeah, I know. And
Probably
it's
over
good to
2
be
hours
back.
whenever I go and check. We'll see.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to be back, isn't it? My fellow co-hosts. It's good to be back. Obviously baseball is starting to get into full swing. We might have some Reds game recaps, something like that, just kind of spitballing. I know the Ohio State spring game just ended a couple of weeks ago, so we could potentially recoup that. I know we're late, but we're just getting back in the swing of things. Plus, I get my wisdom teeth out in a week, so had to get this thing done. Had to get it done.
Yep. Yep. Gavin's going under the knife. You know, hopefully he doesn't succumb to his wounds or anything.
Oh, I hope not. No.
But yeah. Hopefully next time we can have the two best friends back here on the podcast. So it's actually a 5 wide podcast instead of a 3 wide podcast. But
Shit stain 1 and shit stain 2.
yeah, pretty much.
Imagine if we had both of them on here, though. How long would this be? We'd probably still be in the top 10.
We'd be on like pick 15 right now, actually.
Yeah.
Honestly, if we had all 5 of us, I would just go rapid fire. Like, no analysis, just fucking say it like we did last year.
Yeah, I got you. But
yeah.
if you wanna get us out of here, go then. Say the word.
Yeah, alrighty. Well, hope you enjoyed this installment of the 5 Wide podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Gunnar Shockley, joined by my co-hosts.
Gavin Gorsuch.
And Alec Christian.
Thank you for watching and have a good day.